Okay, everybody, I am really excited today, you guys. I have a super special guest for you guys on the Keeping It Real podcast today. I have a new friend, Kim Murgatroyd, who I've actually followed you and your husband on Instagram for a while now. And we were connected through, who connected us again?
Christine Henke.
Yes, exactly. She's like, do you know Kim? And I'm like, I know her through Instagram, but I don't know her. She's like, oh, you should have her on your podcast. So here we are. Super excited to have you, Kim.
Thank you so much.
Where are you again?
I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Oh, awesome. I've actually been to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Love Atlanta. So Kim is a mom of two. So you have a 4-year-old and a 20-year-old. So we have a kind of a spread like that too. Makes life interesting, doesn't it?
Super fun.
Yeah, I have teens and an 8-year-old, and it's kind of like we go back and forth in different worlds. And you and your husband, Rob, you work business together. You're also an exercise physiologist, which
Yes.
I don't even, you'll have to explain that because I'm not exactly sure what that is. And you're also an entrepreneur and entrepreneur at heart. So I feel like we're like soul sisters in that way because I've known from a young age that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, just didn't know it was going to be network marketing. So I can't wait to hear your story. And so that's what, welcome and let us know a little bit about yourself.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. And I totally appreciate that. So, exercise physiologist, basically, I went to school, got the 4-year degree, and something that I'm super passionate about, which is health and wellness and, exercise. And I'm a little bit of a science geek. So really I should be in a lab somewhere, I think, working, but I really have a passion for that. But more than anything, when I got out of school, all of the jobs that were offered to me were not anything that was really a game changer for me personally. It wasn't something that really lit my soul up. Like I could work in corporate wellness, which felt like glorified daycare of older people. I didn't know why I needed to do this other than working in a lab, or I'd work in a hospital or something. So the only thing that I found that I loved was personal training. And what I loved about that was this one-on-one connection and this desire to really help people, not necessarily transform physically for like vanity reasons, but really create quality of life change in their health. So, I went down that road, but that is a long day. You're up at 4 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, you're home at 10 at night. You're intermittent through the day, and it wasn't the lifestyle I wanted. So, push came to shove. I created an online program called Jet Set Body. We were very successful. We created amazing transformations, but I was missing that personal connection because it was a digital product, and you know what I mean. And
I get it.
It was crazy. And I was like, okay, I felt like the 3 little bears. Like this one was too many hours. This one, I have no connection, but I love it, and like you, I never in a gazillion years thought I would end up in network marketing. And in fact, said no to it for 3 years before I ever took the plunge.
And so what made you say no during that time? What was your thoughts around it?
Yeah, ego. Ego is a good one. So am I going to be another one of those people? All of the misnomers that I really didn't know. I want to blame everything. I want to blame that like I didn't know enough about it or that I didn't understand compensation. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be really honest. And it's definitely what would others think of me and the ego that surrounds that. So also fear of failure. Like, what if I did it and failed? Like what?
Right.
Then
you tell everybody and then they're expecting you to fail. So now you really got to be successful.
Yeah. And I'm not like, I fail a lot, but we have been successful. We've owned multiple businesses. When I was personal training, I owned my own personal training business. Like I've always been an entrepreneur. So to do something and fail publicly was a little bit scary. So yeah, we definitely said no for that reason. My friend Kathy approached us with it. I did say yes to the products because I love fitness. And again, science geek, I love our products.
Yeah.
So I did say yes to that. I just did not want to take a look at the business at all, really. So that was that. That was a long time ago. That was like 7 years ago, I guess, almost now when I said no, hell no, more no's all the way down.
Block.
Yeah, pretty much.
Where did it turn around for you? What was that moment when you were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been saying no to this. I need to do this now. Like what was that like for you?
So I remember being really pregnant and getting the nudge, and it could have just been my little munchkin kicking me at the time, but I was really pregnant and I had just had dinner with my friend Kathy, who had asked me to do it. And this was now about 3 years later. And she was becoming a millionaire in our company the next day. Okay. Like they were awarding her and all of this stuff. She was in Atlanta. She's like, let's go to dinner. And I said, okay, Rob, we're going to go to dinner with Kathy. And he said, yeah, I'm going to sit at the bar. I'm not going to listen to a pitch on this again. And he did. He's come said hello and he went and sat at the bar. He wouldn't even sit at the table.
Wow.
And so I sat at the table and I listened and I could feel this nudge in me that was like, this is the right thing, but how do I get this guy sitting at the bar to like see the vision? Once my baby was born, I didn't care anymore what anyone thought. I didn't care what, honestly, what he was even really thinking, because I had a vision for my life with this child and how it was going to play out, and it was going to play out different than our older child. So I knew this was going to be a different path. And one night, about 2 months after I had the baby, 3 months after I had the baby, we played Stupid Idea Time, which is our favorite brainstorming game.
I love that.
It basically is an open time where no idea can be judged. And so you are allowed to verbalize any stupid idea. And it was things like, let's move to California and open a coffee shop for dogs, and we'll bake cookies and dog biscuits. Like just things that were just, stupid. So yeah. So I threw up on the board network marketing, and he couldn't say anything. And then after, cool reflection in the morning, we kind of crossed off the ones that really were stupid, and that was still there. And so we decided to entertain that, and that's where it began. That's so amazing. that was about 3.5 years ago.
I love that. I know I started my business when my youngest was 4.5 weeks old as well. And like you, I felt that same sort of tug of like, I don't want to go back to the corporate. I want to be home with this baby. I don't want to have to put my older two in daycare. And even though I was fearful of judgment, it was the same. It's like, I don't care what you guys think, because at this point I was, late 30s. I'm like, life is moving on, and I want to do something different. And there's that whole saying that if you want something different, you have to do something different. And this was it for me. And so I think that's what you bring up is a good point, is that it has to be the right time for you. And I always say that, like 4 years ago when she first asked you about it, it just wasn't the right time for you. Like I always think that too. I'm like, if I had joined this even 3 years before, I was in a different headspace. I don't know if it would have worked the same. Like, would you agree?
Absolutely. It wouldn't have worked the same, because I wouldn't have my why. Your why drives that line. Your why wakes you up in the morning and gets that job done. Mine now is 4 years old. I have a 4-year-old why. And I want a lot of things, not for her, but I want experiences. It's not about gifting her things. It's not about creating like this magical life. It's about being able to put her in the Montessori school that I was dreaming about. It was about, like right now, it's about moving our family to a place that we feel alive and inspired, in a community that is on our same ethical and moral and social level of how we just want to raise our child. And, everything is about that for me. And I wouldn't have had that why before. My why would have been very different, and it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked 100%.
And this is why, for the listeners who are listening, when someone says no to you, that's just not right now. It's not like it's forever. And so it's always about, when someone says no, like obviously your friend continued to build a relationship with you and continued to go out for dinner with you and continued the friendship and waited for the moments, to come back. And when the time was right, you said yes. So it's always about keeping those relationships going.
Absolutely. The fortune is in the follow-up for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So you've been in network marketing for how long?
Let's see. We started our business, really started like to build our business in January of 2015. Okay. We enrolled a little bit before that, but we weren't really, we were just kind of learning the ropes and seeing what we were going to do, kind of debating it. My husband still had never taken the product, even though I had used it for 3 years. And it was sitting there and he made fun of me. We're actually doing a cellular cleanse today. We're both doing a 2-day cleanse. he made fun of me every day for cleansing because we have a medical clinic.
Yeah.
And I worked in the medical clinic with him. So I'd walk around with like my stuff and he was like, oh my God, please give it up.
Yeah.
And, so he hadn't even tried the product. So he needed to try the product. He needed to get all of his pyramid scheme questions answered. And that took a while, So we started building in January 2015. We went to our first event and figured out that we were home and that this company was in alignment with our values and our beliefs, and they were fun and everything.
Oh,
so
they're so amazing.
It was home.
I just did a podcast on that alone about why you have to be at your company conferences. Like it's a non-negotiable. Nobody can bring your aha moments back for you. Like you have to be in that arena to get that. So a question for you, you said you dealt with all the pyramid scheme questions. So how, like, let's say someone comes to you and says, okay, oh yeah, that's a pyramid scheme. Like how do you handle that? Or how do you tackle that? What kind of things do you say to that?
Yeah, well, I tell them very simply that a pyramid scheme, if you're looking at a true pyramid scheme doesn't have a product. Mm-hmm. So it is like the Dallas Buyers Club. It is not what we do. We have a legit product that is shipped to your door, and there is, in our company, 84% of our company is product users only. It's not just trying to gain business builders per se. So no, it's not. And as far as like, the people at the top always make the money, right? Everyone says that. And again, not true. In our company, I can't talk about other companies, but I know that I can start somebody who can very easily surpass what I'm earning. And just because they're a rock star, big builder, badass comes in, that doesn't mean that I'm all of a sudden going to be rolling in it just because I'm above them. That's not how our company works. So, and I like to use honestly feel, felt, found in a very authentic way because I feel like that's a really good structure because I truly had the same feelings. I understand how they felt. And here's what I found out. I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way. And here's what I found. That when it's authentic, of course, can be a really good tool to use in any objection that you get.
Yeah. It's about the education, right? Because I always feel like people who come to me with that, it's because they just don't understand, right? They educated. And at the end of the day, if they're not willing to, hear what I'm saying and they keep coming at it, it's like, I'm not in the business of convincing people either.
No, that's the biggest, I think that's why a lot of people fail and quit is because they spend too much time convincing versus educating. And, when I sit down with someone or do a call with someone, my objective is always, we just talked about this on our podcast today. My objective is always to find out if what the person wants is truly a match for our product and or our business. I have told people no before. I've told people, you know what? I don't think we're a good fit, but I have someone that could be, or why don't you try this business? Or why don't you look at that? Because I just don't feel like what's the sale worth to put them or anyone else through something that I don't find is truly beneficial for them. So being willing to say, this is not actually for you, or this may not work out for you is okay. Being willing to do that takes away that that desperation and that convincing mode. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you just, I don't know, there's no reason to have to convince someone of anything and you can't. That's right. Go on Facebook. No one convince anybody of anything.
Yeah. Well, and it's also about having an abundance mindset too, right? Yeah. It's not a scarcity thing where we have to collect all these people, quickly and get them all in. And so that we can, it's about finding people who align with you because, I'll say, I've seen it with people where they've joined somebody and that it's not worked out and it has nothing to do with the product and the business is fine. It's the people haven't. And I've seen people leave the business because of that. And it's unfortunate. So yeah, I think that's a great way to, the beauty about this business is that we get to basically interview the people we want to work with. We get to choose those people, right? So, which Absolutely. I love about that. So, so how do you, with your team, so you've got a big team, you're a leader. So what would you say some of the biggest struggles are and how do you overcome those leading a team, a large team in this business? What are some of the things that you deal with and how do you overcome that?
Well, I think that, they change. So when we first started, I had already used the product for a long time. I knew I loved it. So we were starting for the business, and we knew the product was great. So a lot of people take kind of the product entry where they use the product and then, share it. We came in for the business, and we talked to people immediately about vision and about the business. And so what happened was we had a lot of business builders out of the gate, but we were kind of like a bunch of people that didn't know what we were doing all together. And so the initial, yeah, right? Like everyone's going, okay, what do we do? I'm like, no clue.
Yeah.
But that was the initial. So that took some getting used to. That took being able to check your ego. I think the biggest thing in network marketing is if you've never done it before, you have to check your ego, because you may be at the top of another industry. You may be super successful over here, but you're coming in and you are on the bottom floor here. Learn the skills and the tools and be open to learning and being open to being wrong and being open to messing up. And so I think the biggest thing with being a leader is being able to say that you messed up. Realizing, my leadership is my jam. Okay. So I am all about raising leaders. And I think that's one thing in network marketing. Recognition is huge in the industry. Yeah. So when you hit crystal, triple Lindy, platinum, whatever,
diamond or whatever.
Exactly. Whatever. It's all like recognition, and, your face is splattered everywhere and you're getting awards on stage, and it's all about this recognition. And so it's really easy once you get successful to get this ego, like I am your leader and this is what we're doing. My job as a leader is to be progressively unnecessary. I want to raise leaders within my organization that surpass my leadership ability, that do things with me by my side. I mean, I spoke a couple weeks ago at a local event here in Atlanta on leadership. And what was so amazing about it is that I was on stage, and one of my leaders from my team is on stage right next to me for the first time. And I was like, that makes me more excited than anything having to do with me. I'm over it. Like, I don't need to walk across the stage and get an award. I need 15 people on my team to take a picture on stage, not because I want it for them. And that's leadership. Leadership to me, and the struggles of leadership, is being able to say, you don't know everything, because you don't. People are going to come in with different gifts. I use the Strength Finder from Gallup to determine strengths. Mine is strategy. I have another leader on our team, Chris. She's amazing. Her is winning others over. So community, and she's very personable, and connection. I'm not good at that. Like, that's not my strength. So I'm not going to pretend that I know everything about it. I'm going to raise her up and have her do that part. So, for me, I think the biggest lesson I've learned in leadership is play to people's strengths. And it's not about you. Like, just like when you do a call with a future customer, I don't like to call them prospects. I like to call them future customers. When you do a call with a future customer, it's not about you. That call is not about you. It's not about what team you're putting them on, or what leg, or what position they're going to be in. And they're going to be a triple Lindy by next week. It's not about that. It's about them. And so leadership is the same. It shouldn't be about you. It should be about raising leaders within your team. And if you do that, and if you just keep doing that and shining the light on others, I think that you will have a stronger team for it. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that was good. And I've actually wrote a whole bunch of notes on that, because there's a couple of things that you said. And I think it's so important that, we always recognize the ones who, promote or get this level or earn this thing. But it's also about, I think leadership's also about recognizing the ones who are doing the work. Maybe they haven't hit the rank or done the thing, but they've done more this month than they've ever done, or they've stepped out of their comfort zone in a way that you've never seen before. So, recognizing them for those things and helping them see, the possibility, of accomplishment in themselves. Because sometimes I think they don't see that until you recognize them in those ways. And the other thing with leadership too, as much as it's not about us as being leaders, at the same time, leaders also have to go first, right? So in a sense, it's about us, that we have to go first and do the scary things so that we can show you guys or everybody else, and that it's possible. And then though, once you do it, it's like, you got to get out of the way and let them come up. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's not like, and I'm not saying don't, if you get, I remember when we got our first 6-figure award, I was so geeked out and nervous. And now, mind you, I'm walking on stage with a lot of other people that are getting the same award. So it's not like, 15,000 people are all going to stop and clap for me.
Pretty significant.
But for me, I was so geeked out and so nervous about it. And it was a big deal. And what was amazing is my team, they were doing awards right after lunch. So, people trickle in.
Yeah.
And my team got together and they said, we are staying here for the entire lunch because we are not missing this. You do so much for us. We want to see you. And that was so meaningful to me. And then it was just like, okay, great. Who's coming with me next year? Yeah. So you get to shine in that light yourself because now you're showing them what it looks like. So then they can duplicate the whole thing is about duplication. It's not about being the outlier and stepping aside when when it's your time, because you being a leader builds belief. You going first builds belief. And everything in this business is about building belief. Every single thing, because people say no to you because they don't have belief. People don't rise as a leader because they don't believe in themselves. So yes, acknowledging people. I love to acknowledge people for being coachable. How about that one? Like, I'm like,
write that down.
Write that down. I did 45 minutes on the phone with you and you didn't take any action. Or I did 45 minutes on the phone with you and in 2 minutes you changed your Instagram bio or something. It was like, I reward coachability and I turned, my upline, one of my upline told me, Hillary, turn the volume down and just watch the movie. So don't listen to what they say, watch what they do and reward that. And I just thought that was such a gift.
I love that. And it's awesome that we're in this age where social media allows us to, be able to do that kind of recognition and put people on a platform and say like, congrats. Like, we always have in our business, we have month ends. And then, so the first of the month, we're always out there posting, way to go. This was, and so it's a fun way to be able to recognize and give them that sort of, platform to be able to feel good about themselves and do all that kind of stuff. I love that. So speaking of social media, this is kind of a game changer. I've been in this business for 8 years. And when I started,
sorry, I apologize. My dog wants to talk about social media.
Obviously he's excited, which is great. When I first started, 8-ish years ago, we were just getting onto Facebook and stuff. Now it seems like now it's just completely changed the game in the face of network marketing. So what are some of the ways that you utilize social media in your network marketing business?
So here's, I think the number one thing is authenticity. Okay. So even my dog barking right now, guess what your audience just learned? They learned that I do this at home with my dog next to me and that they could do it too. So that's belief building right there.
Yeah.
I think people spend too much time trying to make everything so perfect.
Yeah.
The one thing that I get over and over is that people like that I do this in a way where I'm not kind of shoving it down your throat. Again, back to education versus convincing. So if you can take your social media, whatever platform you're using, I prefer Instagram right now. If you can take that platform and truly educate people versus convince people of why they should do this or do that and inspire them and pour that belief into them and tap into the thing that's keeping them from it, their limiting belief. If you can do that on social media, it will change your game versus just being the next person to post the pretty picture of the shake or the leggings or the whatever you're selling, and you can do that too, but you have to show you, because the game now of social media, like 8 years ago, it was the wild, wild west. And there was not that many people promoting these network marketing companies online. Now it's kind of everybody, it seems like. So you really need to be able to set yourself apart. And I think the way that you do that is by being you and by sharing you, and people connect to the person, not the thing. If they want the shake or the oil or the leggings, they can find that. They know 20 people in their neighborhood selling it, but they're connecting to you. So if my biggest social media strategy would be to find out who you are and build your brand, but not in a way that's like this put together, picture perfect, like show the tantrum of the kid. Okay. Show the tantrum.
Yeah.
I mean, there are days where I just have to shake my head and go, nothing when is planned today. And I'm going to share that because other moms are going to see that too, you know?
I know, absolutely. And I think it goes back to that whole, being authentic, that abundance mindset, that you can be you and know that there's enough people out there in the world that will be attracted to who you are and what you have to offer, and they will come. And I think that people are craving authenticity, like absolutely crave. I remember when I first started doing my first Facebook live video, or my first videos on Facebook, and I thought I had to have them all recorded with this big camera, and I was all done, and I had my script, and I was sitting in my chair, and I was doing these videos. And like now today, it's like, oh my God, I need to talk about that. And I'm grabbing my phone, and I'm like totally not put together, and I'm just doing it. And I think that's the piece that people love. That's what they're drawn to. If they can see that you make mistakes, they can see that your hair's not washed today, they can see the dog barking in the background, and that makes them feel like, hey, I can relate to this girl,
Well, the best Facebook live video that I think the best and the worst for me, I can't rewatch it, but it's just, I can't get through it. My best friend was the first person that signed up with me back when we started, and didn't want the business. And so nothing, like she was like, Kim, I love you. I'm going to use your product because I need to eat. I'm eating. She had 4 kids under the age of 6. I need to eat something other than goldfish off my kid's plate. 3 months in, went to a birthday party. All these moms started to see a difference in her, not her weight or anything like that, but just her energy and everything. And she called me and said, okay, I have like all these women that want this. I was like, awesome. Do you want to make money? And she's like, okay. And so she began. Well, 18 months later, she retired from her full-time job to be able to do this full-time and be with her 4 kids, one with special needs. So I did a Facebook live video to share this. Okay. Not my finest moment, because I started to share, and it was like the day she called me. And so I'm sharing this, and all of a sudden the tears come, and I'm live. And then the ugly cry comes, to the point where I'm like hyperventilating because I can't even get the words out, because I'm so proud and excited, and like, what a way to impact a life, right? And so I just hit end, like in the ugly cry, hyperventilating.
You left it in the ugly cry.
I left it, dropped the mic, left it in the ugly cry. And I was like, well, if nothing else, I will get that it was really awesome. So, but I definitely got a lot of great feedback from that. And that's just a perfect example of like perfectly imperfect, Yeah.
And that your vibe, like they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. So I'm somebody who's kind of goofy. I don't always, say things grammatically correct. And like, that's just who I am. Right. And it's like, I used to try and push that back, and try and be perfect. And I realized that it just doesn't work that way. I don't come out in the same sort of energy when I'm trying to push myself into a box. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's a lot of people out here who are listening to this who haven't even gone live on Facebook yet because of all of those fears of, I'm not perfect, and what if I make mistakes and all that stuff. Girl, you can ugly cry on a Facebook Live, and I guarantee you'll get more views, more messages, more comments, more stuff than if you're trying to be all, perfect and
like a robot. Mm-hmm.
So let the ugly cry fly. Like, just
let it go. Let it go. Let the ugly cry fly. I'm going to have to write that down.
Yeah, that needs to go on a shirt.
Yeah, it does.
And then also, something that I wrote down here when you were chatting there is that this is the power of this business, you guys. Like, this woman's life that, initially had said no, wanted the products, but you continued to keep following with her. Her life has completely been transformed because of the follow-up that you did. Mm-hmm. And this is why we have to share this business, right? Like, this is the power of this business. Like, I'm home with my kids now because of network marketing. You're home with your kids because of this business. And, we're not all moms that are listening to this, but whatever it is that you want, network marketing can give it to you.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
It's been such a trip.
Plant the seeds and meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Plant the seeds and meet them, and just keep going and keep showing them, pouring that belief into them. Yeah. That is it. The big mistake people don't do is pour that belief. Share the stories of people that in the industry, in your company, that are successful, and share those stories. And if you lose your belief, share them with yourself.
Yes.
Listen to this podcast.
Yes. Right.
Any of them, and just keep keep pouring that belief into yourself and others for sure.
And the vision too, right? And this is going to lead me into the next thing I want to talk to you about. But the vision, right? It's knowing where you're going, like what you're building, so that when you're talking to somebody, they can see your vision and go, I want that. I want a piece of that, or I want to build that too, So it's having your own vision in your mind. So with that being said, I listened to one of your previous podcasts, because your podcast is called the Work Hard, Play Hard.
So my husband has a podcast called Work Hard, Play Hard, and he does 2 episodes a week. He does a long form interview with someone on his space. So Work Hard, Play Hard. And then we do one on Fridays called Fridate. And it just is whatever we do together. So we never know what it's going to be.
Well, this is what I listened to, was the Friday one. And it was all about the vision board.
Yeah.
And because I'm a big believer in visualization and vision boards, and I have stuff all over my house and phone and everywhere. But you brought up a really good point. So do you mind sharing that story about vision boards? Because if you're trying to create that vision that you're going to be sharing, like, this is a great place to start, is by creating that vision board. So I'd love for you to share that story.
Sure. So, vision boards are nothing new to us. We've been making them for years and years. And there's a couple of things that we did recently that shifted everything. And when I used to make a vision board, I've done it with my team in my house, vision board parties, and everybody has their board. Everyone's making their board, and it's great. My board would end up in my closet, like a walk-in style closet. Cause I'm like, where am I every day? And I'm going to go hide it in the closet or the bathroom. Like, who in the world needs to go to the bathroom and see their vision board? Like, is that really the inspiration you want for your vision? But those are the places, I'm being real, right? That's where mine ended up. And what I had a little aha moment, I think actually on the podcast, was I think I was wanting it, but I would think I was fearful I wouldn't get it. So I was kind of hiding my vision board. I didn't want it to be out in the open where my friends or family would see it, because then I would have to explain why my goal was so big. Okay. And that sometimes is uncomfortable, because when you have a big goal, when you have a big dream, other people have sometimes a visceral reaction or an immediate reaction to that. And that's where kind of like some of your haters come in, because they're not dreaming the way you're dreaming. And so it can make you feel insecure about that. So I think subconsciously I was hiding my vision board. Rob was doing the same thing. So he had his own, I had mine, I saw my vision, he saw his. And it wasn't until we melded our visions together. So to give you an example, on my vision board, I had Italy, living in Italy. On his vision board, he had living in California. Okay, we're married over a decade. So that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
That's just not going to work out. And so what we had to do was we came together and I said, you write a list of what you want. I'll write a list of what I want. We got a bottle of wine or more possibly and said, let's hash this out. Okay. And so we determined what we were going to do. And all right, so we might do a year in Italy and I'll get my fix. But I have to be at a certain point in my business to be able to make that happen. So we're going to do that and we're committed to it. But for now, we're going to move to California. And then what do you want? What do I want? Okay, you want to live in LA? I can't do that. Find me a community near LA that has great schools. So we worked out our vision board and we created one vision board where we both brought pictures together and created one board. And that way it is a joint vision. And that has been so powerful because I was resisting his wanting to move to California. He was resisting me wanting to move to Italy because we wanted different things. But now I can't wait to move to California and he can't wait to give me a year in Italy or more. We might say
or more.
or more. We'll see how that goes out. And so that was the first thing, was doing it together just created such unity and respect for each other's vision. And then the second thing was, okay, so now we got this vision board. Where are we hanging it? And I wasn't putting it in my closet. And, he's like, I don't want to put it in the bathroom. And so we're kind of looking around the house and we both, our eyes just kind of locked on this one wall. And you want me to show it for the people that are actually watching?
Sure, on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. So right there. It's right there. Okay. This is my kitchen. Very messy. Okay. So we're not showing you that, but we decided to put it right in our kitchen. And we said, you know what? What better way to send this message to the universe that we are committed, we are making this happen, we are on the same vision, we are on the same path. My goal is his goal is my goal, and we are putting it out there. And now everyone that walks in is like, what's that? Family photo, like random family collage. And then we get to explain it, and we're speaking it literally into existence. And it's just been a game changer.
It's so true. And you have to, like, those visions can't just, I mean, it's good to do it up here and watch it, but you've got to speak it. You've got to put it out there, you know, as if it's already happening. And you become into alignment. So it's like, now you guys are both in alignment, which gives you more flow, which gives you more ease, which gives you more good feelings. Right. So not anxiety or anxiousness going like, oh, he's got that and I've got this. Like, you've kind of broken that open and allowed it to become one, which I love. And the biggest thing I think too, because when people get uncomfortable, because I was like you, mine was in my closet. Actually, mine is in my bathroom right now. So I'm going to go move it.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I've got it in a pretty frame and everything, but you're right, it's in the bathroom. And so I'm going to move that. But the other thing I was going to say with that is that I had it in the closet too, because I think much like you, there was two things. One, I was afraid a little bit that I wasn't going to make it happen. Like, what if I don't make it happen? And two, if people saw it and then like feeling judged for it, right? Yeah. Like it's a thing. And I think that when people are judging, like if you do put it in your living room and they see it and they're like, oh, whatever, really what you're doing is putting a mirror up to themselves and saying like, you know, what are your dreams? What are your things? Like, are you not dreaming big enough? And that's why I think they get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I actually listened to that podcast as soon as I walked in the door from walking the dog, listening to that. I said to Jason, okay, we need to redo this whole vision board thing because we need to do this together. Because we have to, and you know, for those of you guys who are listening, I know a lot of people who are listening, sometimes their husbands aren't quite on board with all of this stuff, because in network marketing, we do get brought into this whole personal development, energy, visualization, all this stuff, and they're not quite there yet. So how would you, like, do you have any tips for them on how to deal with that?
Yeah. So I am so lucky, I have to say, that I do have an amazingly supportive husband. Now, that being said, when it was initially pitched to me, he was not so supportive, right? Yes. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But he did not so supportive, but in jest, you know, so slightly joking when he was making fun of me. But yeah, we've always had a good relationship like that. But for a lot of women on my team, their husband doesn't see the vision, and they see the time and that they're putting into this. And they're going, yeah, okay, so I saw your paycheck this week. And it didn't match the time you put in. And so what we really try to do is ask the women, have a conversation with your husband and let them know, I am not going to make you do this with me. I don't need you to post and, you know, feed me people or help me coach if you don't want to. I'm not going to force this, but I do need you to support me. And what I would love is that if you would come to one event and you could feel the culture that I feel. And if after that you want nothing to do with it, that's okay. But can you do one thing for me and just come to one event, meet my team, feel my culture? Think of it as like your business dinner out that I've gone to a million times.
Yes. Your company Christmas party.
Your company Christmas party, whatever you want. And just do this one for me, just so you can see what I see. And you may never catch that vision. And that has to be okay with you, because the other problem, I think, you know, this is two-sided relationships are. You got the guy that's like, holy crap, what is she drinking? What Kool-Aid is this girl drinking now? Like, her verbiage has changed, and like she says weird things, and you know, she's holding meetings in my house. All of a sudden things can shift, and you don't bring them along for the journey and share your vision with them. And so I think there's that. But on the other side of it, I think that women try to drag their husband into this business, and it's not inspiring to them to be dragged into something. Men like to conquer their own mountains often. And once your mountain gets big enough, he's probably going to tag along on it. So just keep that in mind. But, you know, not forcing that issue, I think, is also super helpful. But I really think trying to get them to one event would be great, and just committing for that support, because, you know, this is network marketing is something where in the beginning you're going to work an insane amount of hours and not get paid what you're working. Then you're going to hit a level where your effort, your work expenditure is going to meet your paycheck. But then you're going to hit a level where now your paycheck is far exceeding anything you did that week. And that is where we're going with this. And so this is not a 6-month or 6-day or whatever plan. This is a 5-year plan. This is a 5-year journey. So if you can't commit to that, you know, then that's right there is, you know, going to make your business shaky.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And I think that you bring up a good point in that when we're sharing the business, especially when we're sharing it with husbands and wives together, because a lot of times I'll meet with the woman who wants to join the team, and then she wants me to meet her husband and share so that they can hear the same info. But one of the things is to not sugarcoat it, not sugarcoat or fluff this up, because
yeah,
it does take time, and some people
yeah.
it's going to take more time than others. Some people are going to have longer journeys than others, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how long it takes you. It's so worth it once you get there. Right. So
Yeah.
it's like not sugarcoating it. And I know for my husband, he was big on the numbers. He was like, just show me the numbers of what's possible here.
Yeah.
And then I'll feel a lot more connected to the work that she's,
Yeah.
that the time out of the house and all that stuff. And
And
I'm very fortunate. Yeah. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, back to the vision board. If you guys get on the same vision, what's the vision for your life? Okay. First of all, the vision is not to be a triple Lindy, platinum, diamond, whatever. Like that's not your vision. Your vision is, what are you going to do? How much impact are you going to create? What are the things you want in your life, for your family, for freedom? What is that going to look like for you? When you and your husband are on the same place with vision, he's on that train with you now. Now he's going, okay, so you want this for freedom. Okay, well, what if I could have that? What if, like, all of a sudden, maybe he wants a sports car. Maybe he wants to work less. Maybe he wants to go to every soccer game. Maybe he wants to coach. Who knows? Find out what he wants. Work it into your plan. Okay, baby. So listen, I mean, my husband started this business with me. He did a year and a half of like doing every phone call. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't do one phone call for a year and a half. You know why? Because I was scared. Okay. I'm not that person. Yeah. I'm not I don't like talk about money. I had to read Secret of the Millionaire Mind 17 times. Like, I really struggled with that. And then a year and a half in, he had to go back into our first business to make sure it didn't die, because he was kind of juggling both. I was doing the business behind the scenes, but he was like the Queen of England, he was in the front. So he had to stop doing the calls, and went back and into our other business. And I had a choice, let my business kind of suffer or step up. Yeah. And so I had to step up. Well, now I lead this business. He supports, I lead. He has his own business now, second business, we have 3. So now he has his own passion project. Network marketing became passion for me. I love this industry. I love everything. For him, it became a platform. And so he is like, go baby, go. If I got to do a call, if I have 6 back-to-back meetings, whatever, he's like, I will take the kid. Let's get that vision, because we're on the same page. So I think you can tie your spouse into something they love, numbers, vision.
Well, and it's like the car, right? It's like, hey, let me do this, and here's the reward, right? Like, let's do this, and here's the reward. The vision board is the reward of all the work. And I find that when you have the vision, you don't need to know all the house steps. You just need to know that this is what you're working towards. And the network marketing business can be one piece of it, but maybe he finds something else, and who knows what will come out of that.
Absolutely.
And I do feel that network marketing is a platform for a lot of people. It's an entry level place to learn entrepreneurial skills so that you can go off and do it. And, we say this in our business all the time, that network marketing is a vehicle for you to figure out what it is you're passionate about, and then be able to do more of that, because it gives you the time freedom, right? So it's, showing your husband or the unsupportive spouse, husband, wife, whoever it is, that there's more to this than just working the business. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than just selling product and being
so much bigger
presentation, right? It's so much bigger than that. Now, you talked about fear, because I'm a big mindset girl. I teach a lot of mindset stuff. That is my favorite thing to talk about. So you dealt with a lot of fear when he stepped out. So how did you overcome that fear? What kind of things did you do to kind of get yourself out of that place? Because it can really paralyze people, fear.
Yeah. So I think here's what I was fearful of. I wasn't a script person.
Yeah, I'm not a big script girl either.
Yeah. And so I didn't have another tool at the time. And how did I get over the fear? It was really simple. I decided that my child and my family was more important than my fear. And once I, journaled that and made that discovery of, I had to dig deep and I had to move past like the freedom, because we talk about, oh, I want freedom and I want to be with my kid at the park. And we talk about these things, but deep in my core, I had a need to prove myself to myself, not to anybody else necessarily, but I had a need to prove myself to myself that I didn't need my ride or die husband to be my wingman. I could do this. I am very capable. I just got comfortable in this like backup role somehow, that I knew I had more to offer and that I would be able to do it. And so I stopped talking about it. I journaled it. And the next day I got a text of a friend and she said, I think my friend Nick will be awesome for your business. Can you do a call with her? And every other time I had said, hey, Rob, can you do this call? Yeah. And I said, sure. And I figured, I don't know her. I have no idea who she is. She's a friend of a friend. It's a referral. So what is she going to do? Judge me? Okay. Yeah. So I got on the phone with her and I enrolled her. And I was like, I can do this. Yeah. And then over the last 2 years, I have built my own system of how I make it non-creepy and non-weird to talk to people on the phone. And I do it all the time now and I have no problem with it. And so getting that fear, I think the fear is driven obviously by whatever your insecurity is, but overcoming it for me was the why. Finding out what the real deep why was and harnessing that and using it.
Yeah. And really I think it's making the decision that you want something more than you're afraid of it. And then when you feel the fear and you push through it anyways, that's like, I preach that, like, to overcome resistance, you have to do the work. That's how you overcome fear and resistance.
Absolutely.
Do the work, because then it starts to dissipate. You realize, oh, I didn't die when I did that call.
Like when you text the chicken list,
right? Because we make it all hard up here. We think of it as being this like really scary thing. And then when we actually do it, we're like, that was actually really good. Yeah. And then you're not afraid of it so much the next time. Right. So it's about taking action and doing it. I love that. Now, I love mindset and I'm all about the power of decision. When you decide that you want something in your heart, like, decision is not words. It's a feeling. How many times have you had somebody say, oh, I'm going to the top. I'm going to be like, whatever. And then like a month later, they're gone, right? They've ghosted. So it's like, that's somebody to me who's not made a decision. They're saying words, but it's not really a decision. A decision is something that, like you said, like I wanted this more than I was afraid of it, and
taking the daily action, even if it's small.
Yeah.
Even if it's small. Mel Robbins, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I chicken listed so many people with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We actually did a chicken list Zoom call where everybody got their chicken list and we all did it together. So like strength in numbers, and there may or may not have been wine present for that because, people get nervous about reaching out to these chicken list people. But just committing, taking that action. And I think, like you said, the more action you take, the more belief builds.
Oh yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about that. Like the thought right now that I was afraid to get on the phone with somebody in my is comical in my own head. I'm like, really? What in the world? But if I go back to where I was at the time, it makes perfect sense.
Well, and they always say fear is your compass, right? So you needed to feel that fear. You needed to use that as your compass to know what you needed to do. And that's grown you, right? Like now you've grown. And that's what I try to get into people's heads. It's like, when you feel the fear, that's your sign that you have to go and do it.
Yeah, do it anyway.
Grow in a way that it's going to evolve you and make you better, and your skills are going to be better, and your business is going to be better, and life's going to be better. So just feel the fear and do it anyways, which I think is a book. It's a good book. Speaking of books, what do you have? A couple books that what are your favorite, 1 or 2 favorite mindset books or business books or things that have really just impacted you?
Okay. So if you have money mindset issues, The Secret of the Millionaire Mind, I will forewarn people that if you do the audio, it is a little kooky where it's like, put your hand to your head and say, I have a millionaire mind.
It's you're going to do this.
And then you're going to do this thing. I'm forewarning you that it's kooky. I'm also going to tell you, I quite literally read it. I think 6 or 8 times 2 years ago, because my money blueprint was so messed up that it was preventing me from having success. So I really needed to harness that. And so, yes, it is a goofy book. And if you have money mindset issues, go for it. And then the other book that I think should be a mandatory read for every single person in network marketing is the Go Giver series.
Oh,
So
yes.
Go Giver, Go Giver Leader, Go Giver Sell More, all of them, Go Giver Influencer.
Yes. The Go Giver Leader is the one I just finished in May.
Yes.
It was amazing. Yes, you're right. That's an amazing series.
It's such a simple concept, but again, if you can just come from the place of this is not about you, this is not about your business, this is not about, the call you're about to do, the person you're about to meet, if you can just for a minute make their interests more important than yours, then you will have, as they say, stratospheric success. And so that series is fun. It's a quick read. And
I read it in like 3 days in Florida when we got stranded in Florida. And it was like, I just kind of zoomed. They're like stories. So it's like I like them that you can read through them.
And I love the audio too, because it's like, I don't know. I like to listen to books. I'm one of those multitasking.
I do the audio and then I buy the hardcover so that I can dog ear it and tag it. And all that stuff. And speaking of money mindset, 2 of the money mindset books, because I struggle with money mindset too. And it's something that I'm working towards. But I'm just going to shout out a couple other books on that because I know that's a big thing for a lot of people, which is Jen Sincero's You're a Badass at Making Money.
Yes.
Amazing book.
Amazing. Yeah.
And she's funny. So it's a good listen. The Science of Getting Rich, which was the one that was written way back in like 1910 or something. And there's parts of it, I have to read it a couple times over to kind of get the language because it's written so long ago, but the basis of that book is amazing. And then there's another one called The Abundance Code. So those are some money mindset books for everybody if you're looking for that kind of stuff. I love it. There's so much. You've just shared so much amazing stuff in this call. I swear we could talk all afternoon. What would you say just to wrap up? Because I don't want to keep you all day. Because I know I could easily do that. What would you say if thinking of the listeners here who are in their business, maybe they've been in the business for a year, maybe they've just started, they're only a few months in, but they're in that place of struggle. Cause we've all been there, feel like you've run out of people. You're not sure where to go next. You're feeling a little bit stuck. What would you say would be a couple 1-2 things that to help people move out of that place? Just get out of there and keep moving.
Yeah. I would say number 1 is get out of your house, get out from behind your phone, your laptop, and meet people. We are in the business of making friends. Like we are professional friend makers. So go make friends. You don't go with an intention of I'm going to sell this person my product. Go with an intention that I'm going to make a connection with a human being and we are going to be friends. Like that, let that be your intention. That always shifts the energy because you keep adding. No one's list is ever stale. No one's list is ever finite. You can keep adding to your list, and new people, new perspective always helps. Second thing is practice gratitude daily. If you don't, there's one thing of posting like every morning starts with a grateful heart on your Instagram. There's a whole nother thing about actually sitting down and having a gratitude practice. And I've never been a pessimistic person. I'm always very much like, the good news is that my best friend jokes that she never calls me when she wants to commiserate because she knows I'm going to say the good news is. It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. And it doesn't matter. Like she just was in a hurricane. I was like, the good news is, so gratitude is something for me that it is natural as who I am. However, practicing it is a whole nother level. So my gratitude practice when I get stuck is I lay in bed before I put my feet get on the floor and I run through the list. I don't have a number. I just run through the list of everything in my heart I'm grateful for. Then when I get out of bed, I'll do Tony Robbins' priming process, which is 14 minutes. When I can't do it every day, but I can when I need it, boy, it's there to snap me out of it. And then I pour love, belief, and gratitude into 3 to 5 people every single day. And when you start your power hour, I do a power hour 5 days a week for my business. And that's like a distraction-free, income-producing activity.
And do you do that in the mornings or do you do it do you have an hour set each day?
I would love to do it in the morning, but it just depends on the day. If I didn't get it done, I do it at night. So I prefer to do mine in the morning, but the first thing I do in my power hour is send out gratitude messages and thank you cards and gratitude cards. And it puts my heart and my head in the right space to begin the task at hand. So for me, I think those things will shift your mindset, which is what you need.
Yeah. And it raises your vibration when you're feeling that gratitude, right? And that's what we know, what we put out, what we vibrate out is what we attract back, right?
Exactly.
So it's getting yourself in those things and it's creating those habits, right? Like having that morning hour. I used to do it and then I got away from it and now I'm trying to get back to it. I was up this morning at, I don't know, my alarm went off at 5:20 and I think I got out at 5:44. But anyways, getting up and going down and doing my journaling and doing my personal development and doing those things, creating those habits gets you into that momentum. Like it just changes. It starts your day off in a completely a different way than when you wake up and it's already late and kids are running late and like, you know what I mean? It's just, it really settles you in. So creating those good habits can be a game changer for yourself, your business, your family, like everybody, right? So it's, I love those things. I love it. Well, this has been so much fun. You have given us so many great things. I actually wrote down chicken list night. That is a great idea.
Chicken list night.
Yeah. So everybody write that down, get your teams together and
chicken list night. I mean, do the hard stuff together, strengthen numbers, Why not? That's what we're here for.
We've done those kinds of things before. We've had little prizes. It's like who got the most no's, you win like a gift card to something or whatever. So you make it fun. I think that's the biggest thing with this kind of stuff is always make it fun. Yeah. But I'm taking that away and much more from this call. But Kim, thank you so much for your time. This has been such a pleasure. If people want to follow you, find you, can you share, I'll put this in the notes, but can you just share where you're located on the socials and all that good stuff?
Sure. Instagram is Kim Murgatroyd, and that's probably the best place to get me. Facebook, same Kim Murgatroyd. And hit me up on either of those. I'd give you my Twitter, but I'm never there.
Yeah. My Twitter stuff just happens to just be something I posted on Instagram. I think I have it automated.
Yeah, I think it's automated. Exactly.
Yeah, it's Instagram's the hot one right now. So if you're listening to this and you are not on Instagram, you need to get on Instagram.
Yes, right.
I will
if you can spell my last name, you get a prize. Okay. Yeah. So there you go. Kim Murgatroyd. No one thought that through when I made that handle.
Yeah, no, I will definitely make sure that gets put on the notes. And you also have a podcast, you said. So can you just say again what those are? Because I'd love for them to hear that.
Sure. On iTunes or SoundCloud, all of the Spotify, it's Work Hard, Play Hard is the podcast. And you could go to workhardplayhardpodcast.com. And like I said, my husband does long form interviews with people like Lewis Howes. Phil Rosenthal just wrote Everybody Loves Raymond. He's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then we do ours. It's called Fridate, and we cover everything from mindset to children to travel to health. It's kind of whatever we're feeling that day.
Topic for the day. I love that. And I saw that you guys did that big trip. You were with like Lewis Howes and you were with Lori and Chris Harder, who are people that we follow here too.
So pretty much we've been going to Greece every year for a decade, and every year more people invite themselves on our vacation.
I love it. Not bad people to have on your vacation.
Not bad people to have on your vacation. Great friends, great people. And it was actually the basis of my husband starting his mastermind. So he's got a Work Hard, Play Hard mastermind with 2 international destinations and some high-level entrepreneurs. It's going to be pretty spectacular. So that was the brainchild.
That was what came out of all of that, right?
Exactly.
Well, when you're around that kind of group, the energy must just be through the roof, right? Like just
it's amazing.
So inspiring entrepreneurs and just everybody.
And they're all people too, and so we did, I'll share this one thing. I swear I'm too chatty. I'll stop.
No, it's good.
So we have this ritual we've been doing again for a decade. We have another couple that has traveled with us every year. And we go to this little restaurant in Mykonos, no electricity, overlooks the ocean, and like 10 tables maybe. And every year we write in July, we go in the summer, we write our goals for the next 12 months. And we put it on a piece of paper, we seal it in an envelope, we write the date on it. And then a year later, we go back, sit at the same table, open the envelope, read it, talk about if we hit it, if we didn't, what we learned. And so this year we did that goal setting ceremony with Chris and Lori and Jenna Scare and Lewis and Christine Hassler and Steph, it was amazing. And it was really impactful, a lot of fun. And,
I bet.
Listen, talk about up-leveling your tribe.
We were watching it through Instagram. I'm like, how do we get on that trip?
Oh, hence the mastermind.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now every vacation we have has turned into, this thing. And of course, little Sophia, my daughter, sitting off in the corner, being crazy.
And look what she's learning, right? Like, that's a thing. Our kids are always watching us, right? So give them a good show. Like, show them that you've got this. Show them that you can do this. Show them that, like, you can get up when the obstacles come. Because let me tell you, girlfriend, they're coming. There are going to be many. And I am the person I am today. I am doing this podcast. I've started these businesses because of the obstacles, not because of the wins, because of the obstacles. Those are the things that have grown us. Would you agree?
Always. Right? You don't grow when things are good. You only grow in the struggle. That's it.
So embrace them, find the good, learn the lesson, and keep moving.
Keep moving.
That's it. We're going to end it there.
Perfect.
I love it. This has been so amazing. I can't wait to share you with everyone. Thank you so much, Kim, for your time. Say hi to Rob, even though he doesn't know me yet. I have been following him, so I have been creeping him out. Say hi to him for me and your daughter. And thank you again so much for your time.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
This has been great. Okay. Thanks, Kim.